Hey everyone, welcome to your next module inside your Sales Rails Forge membership area. What we're going to do today is build our first chat sequence. So, in a previous module, you saw me connect one of our Facebook pages, you saw me connect one of our Instagram accounts, and we're going to use one of those accounts to build our first chat sequence. And the reason that I'm building this chat sequence this early is because I'm going to need a chat sequence to show you some of the other features. So we'll come back to lots of this in a lot more detail in later videos, but let's just build something basic and show you what you can achieve. So here we are back inside the warm embrace of the Sales Rails account of William Drew. As you know, the dashboard is no longer empty because we've connected a Facebook page, we've connected an Instagram account, and we've enabled the bot connection to both of those. Over on our left-hand panel, what we want to do is come down here and go to Bot Manager. That's going to take you over to this page. Now, first thing to know, even though they're both owned by Meta, even though they are both very similar, the automations that you can achieve via the Facebook API are different to the automations that you can achieve via the Instagram API. That means they are separate platforms with separate rules. That means that you cannot build one sequence that works on both Facebook and Instagram. You have to treat them differently. And therefore, up here we have this toggle switch that enables us to switch between either building sequences for Instagram or building sequences for Facebook. Now, if you want the same sequence for both, this can be a pain because you think to yourself, well, it all looks so similar, the builder looks the same, but the reality is that what the software has to do behind the scenes to connect to Facebook and to connect to Instagram is different, and therefore we have to keep these two things separate. I hope that's clear. But what we're going to do first is build our first sequence, and we're going to build it for Facebook. Now, if the Facebook account that I had connected had multiple pages, I mean it does, but if I'd imported multiple pages, they would be here. We only have one page connected right now. Here it is, running to keep up. We're going to go over here to create new flow. As I say, in other videos, we're going to talk about all of these different things to orientate yourself. But for now, I need to show you how to build a sequence in order that we can use that sequence in some of the other videos that I'm recording. So I figured I might as well show you right now. Create new flow is what we're clicking on, and this is the first. This is the canvas that you come to. We've got these elements in this panel down the side that we can drag and drop onto the canvas. But the first thing that we need to do is we need to name the flow. If you forget to do this, when you come to save the flow, it's going to tell you that there's a problem, and it's usually, for me at least, it's because I didn't name the flow. So that's the first thing I try and do. I'm not always that successful, but I try. So we're going to call this test 220323. That is the date as I record this, and then we click done, and we've got this flow named. Now, inside Facebook, inside Sales Rails for Facebook, there are multiple ways that we can set up a trigger for one of these sequences that we're building. Lots of different ways to do it. You could do it through a QR code. You can do it through an m.me link. You can do it through through a comment on a post, or you can do it from a trigger keyword. And that's what we're going to do first. So down here, you can see this element, trigger keywords. We're going to drag that out onto the canvas. And then we are going to connect these two things together. Now, if I try to connect that to the action button, it tells me that I can't do that. They're not the same thing. So the action button socket on here is looking for an action button behind it, and the trigger socket is looking for the keywords trigger. So we connect those two together, and now we can double click on this and we can put our trigger keywords in here. So what does this mean? This means that someone has come into my Facebook Messenger for my page. So they've gone to my page, they've clicked the button that says Messenger, they've come in, and then they've sent me a message that includes this key word. And because they've sent me a message with that keyword, it triggers this sequence. See what I mean? So if I put something in here like hi or hello, as is suggested here, that's going to get annoying really fast, because pretty much everyone who messages you is going to say hi or hello, and therefore the sequence is going to trigger maybe when you don't want it to. So pick something that people maybe aren't going to type all that often. Something like alphabeti spaghetti, for example. Now, what do you get some options here. If I click on exact keyword match, this sequence is going to fire if it sees the word alphabeti, or if it sees the word spaghetti. If I have string match, it's going to need both alphabeti and spaghetti to fire. I think that's straightforward. We click done. So alphabeti spaghetti is our keyword, and we've got nothing else connected here. So that is the only way currently that this flow is going to trigger. So someone comes into Messenger for the Running to Keep Up page. They type in the words alphabeti spaghetti, and this sequence fires. So the first thing that we want here is a text element. We want the first thing that someone puts in the keywords. We want them to see a text message. So we can do this in a couple of ways. So keep doing and then deleting, because I'm not talking about it. You can go over here, find the text element and drag it onto your canvas, and then I can connect those together. The other way to do it, if I just delete that, is to drag out from this next, and then I get this little menu, which is all of these elements here. So I can click text, and there we go. Got there in the end. So we double click on that to edit it, and we go in here, and we're going to say hi F name. So this is the first name that the person uses inside Facebook. So this hashtag lead _ user _ first _ name hashtag, what that does is it pulls in the first name from the person's Facebook account, which is pretty cool. So hey first name, thanks so much for commenting or for your message. So what we're going to do in this sequence is we want to collect someone's email address. So someone's come into our world, they've used the trigger keyword alphabeti spaghetti, and we want to get them onto our email list. That's what we're going to do. Now, I'm a big believer that we should be upfront with the people that we're engaging with in this way. We should tell them that they are talking to an automation. So we're going to call this I am cup. So I always like to give my automations cute names. It makes it more friendly. It makes it less intimidating for the user. It improves the experience for the user, I believe, and that's what I'm trying to do here. So we're going to call this one Cup, because this is the running to keep up page, and I often abbreviate that to R2K up. So Cup. I am Cup, the running to keep up automated assistant. People don't like the term bot. It has nefarious connotations for some people. It also, in the world of ChatGPT, it means something different these days. So let's try and avoid it. I am Cup, the running to keep up automated assistant, and I will help you get signed up today. Now, in here, what we can also do is we can have a typing delay. So what that looks like is just like if you were messaging your mum inside Facebook Messenger, when she's typing, you'll see 3 little bubbles jumping up and down to let you know that she's typing. We can recreate that inside these sequences, and we can even determine how long the delay should be in that reply appearing. But this is the first message, so we don't need to do that. So we're going to leave those as they are, and we're going to click done. And now, for everyone that uses the trigger keywords alphabeti spaghetti, this first message is going to automatically be deployed. Now, I'm just going to go back in here just for a second, because it occurs to me that depending on how your subscribers come into this sequence, there are different rules as to what you need in what you need as the first steps inside your sequence. And if they come into Messenger, type in the trigger keywords, basically they're no rules, they're yours. They have put their hand up and said, I want to be a subscriber by using the trigger keywords. But if we were doing this as a reply to a comment, there are some rules about what we do first. And so what I want to put in here, I want to ask a question. I want to say, is that okay with you? You maybe notice that as I type, I hold my head at a funny angle. It's because the microphone is right in front of me right here, and I can't see the keyboard properly. So if you're wondering what's going on, that's what's going on. So we're going to put, is that okay with you? There. And then we're going to have a quick reply. So a quick reply is an assumed response. So it's something that it looks like a button essentially inside Facebook Messenger with the response, and your user will click on that response, and then that response gets transmitted back to us. Okay, so we'll click on new postback. We'll talk about postbacks in just a second. And this one's going to say awesome. Let's go. So this is going to look just like this inside Facebook Messenger. It's going to be a button. It's going to say awesome, let's go. And that awesome, let's go is going to come back to us as a message. So it's a postback. That's what the term postback means. It means that the system, the Facebook Messenger system, has sent something back into Sales Rails. Now, lots of platforms of this type hide the postbacks from you, but I think it's very important for you to see them. because it can save you lots of time. You can reuse these sequences from specific points, from specific postback points, which saves you lots of time. Often you're going to be doing the same things over and over again, so you want that ability. Also, these are the hooks. These are the hooks that enable you to hang different functions on. So, for example, I could have a conditional reply where did this happen or did this happen, and then they go on different paths depending on the reality there. That can only be hung on a postback hook. And the other reason is that the postbacks are the point where your 24 hours to converse with your subscriber start. So every time there's a new postback, there's a 24-hour window where you can message that subscriber as much as you want to. And that 24-hour window resets every time there's a new postback. So again, it's important to see where those points are so that you can understand that you're compliant with the rules. So all of these things meant that we've left these postback boxes in. It can get a little tedious because you have to go and name each one, but think carefully about how you name them. You want to be able to identify these postbacks in the future because they are so valuable. So choose a naming convention, be sensible, and be able to identify these. So we're going to call this, we're going to call this test postback 1. And the reason that I'm calling it that is because I don't want to be able to use these postbacks in the future. This is just a test sequence. We can label these, so this helps. So maybe you want to label it as email sequences or something like that. We can even select another sequence. So this would be another sequence that we built elsewhere. We might be able to choose that in here, and kind of finish right at this point. So it's very flexible from that point of view, but we're going to leave it as it is. Now we've had this initial message, we've clicked awesome, let's go. Now we can get moving. So what we're going to put in here next is an image. Actually, we're going to put in a GIF. Okay, I can't put in that GIF. Let me try the other one. Oh, that one's okay. So we got Lucille Ball there, spraying champagne everywhere. I think that's Lucille Ball. Might be wrong. So the other one was too big, so they've got to be a certain size to bring into the system. But there you go. So we like the fact that they've said, awesome, let's go. Now the next thing that we want to do is we're going to ask for their email address. Now this is something that they've got to input. So this is so for this we need a user input flow. So that's this one down here. And we're going to connect those together. So we're going to name this test email capture. So the first thing that we do inside an email, inside a user input flow, is ask a question. And it doesn't really have to be a question, but that's just how the system kind of identifies them. So we double click on that. We're going to click free keyboard input. The other option is multiple choice. So what would that look like? That would look like basically 3 quick replies in a row, or 2 quick replies, or whatever it was. That would enable you to have a multiple choice response. But we're going to put free keyboard input, and now we're going to put our question. So we're going to say, awesome, let's get you signed up. Just confirm your email address below. Now, this is one of the differences between what we can achieve in Facebook and what we can achieve in Instagram. In Facebook, we can auto-populate the email address. So your Facebook follower has come into the sequence, they've put in the trigger keywords, they've clicked that they definitely want to sign up, and they're happy to interact with our automated assistant cup. Facebook will allow us to auto-populate their email address, and so it ends up looking just like a quick reply. Their email address appears, they just click on it, and that email arrives in our system, which is pretty cool and takes away. It's not a great deal of friction, I guess, to input your email address, but it does kind of alleviate any friction that there is there. So we come down to reply type. So in Instagram, it doesn't do this. It doesn't do the auto-populating. So we would have to leave it as text there, and they would have to type in their email address. And we'd probably change this. We wouldn't. I spelled confirm wrong anyway. But we wouldn't put confirm on Instagram because they're having to type it in. But if we go in here, you can see that there's different responses that we can have. But email is one, and then we click on attach email quick reply. So they're going to see that button. They're going to see that message, and right below it is going to be their pre-populated email address. Awesome. We want to save it to a system field, and we want to save it to email. So we collect their email address. Where do we save it? We save it to the email field inside Sales Rails. And then we can assign to sequences. Again, we'll come to all of this. We can have a skip button. We don't want to do that right now because we want everyone inside this sequence to give us their email address. That's what we're here for. So now we click done. So you can see, awesome, let's get you signed up. Just confirm your email address below. Attach email quick reply, yes. Save to system field, email. Perfect. Now we can carry on in this same user input flow and ask for different information. Maybe we want to collect mobile numbers, for example. We could do that in the next question inside this same flow. I'm not going to do that in this sequence. So this is our final reply, and that results in another post back. Because now that information is coming back to us, and that makes this test post back rather creatively too. And we click done. Now, I'm in the UK, and even though we've left the splendours of the European Union, and we are still governed by the impact of GDPR. And what GDPR requires us to do is to essentially double check with someone once they've given us their email address that they're happy to receive emails. I think it's overkill. I think it's implied in the fact that you gave me your email address. But to be compliant, we're going to add another text element. And what we can do in here, we can put in links. We can put in links to our terms of service, to our privacy policies, and strictly speaking, to be GDPR compliant, that's what we should do. But I think there's a little bit of a grey area there where we can just, if we get someone to confirm, it's the equivalent of clicking on that checkbox when you fill in a form. So you fill in a form online, you put in your name, you put in your email address, and then there's a checkbox, and it will have links to the privacy and terms and conditions that no one ever clicks on, right? But you click that checkbox. This is what we're doing here. So seem to be determined to type confirm wrong. And as I say, if we were going to strictly be GDPR compliant, I would want to put in links to my privacy policy here as well. We're going to have one more quick reply. So this is the same setup. It's a new postback. It's going to say confirm. We're going to click done. And this is going to be, obviously, test postback 3. And that's it. Now we've captured their email address. We've got their permission to email them. Now we can say thank you. Probably what I would do is put in another GIF there, fireworks going off, champagne corks popping, something like that. Confetti coming down. Who knows? The world is your oyster. The world of GIFs is your oyster. But something like that. It doesn't really matter. But that is our first sequence. If I click that button there, it rearranges everything into a nice straight line, which, satisfies my need for tidiness. We need to click save. So we're going to click that. If you've missed out naming anything, if you've missed out naming the flow, if you've missed out naming any of the post backs, if anything is incomplete, then you won't get that success message down in the bottom right. But we've done everything right. This is now live. And what I'll do now is go over to my phone and show you what it looks like. Okay, so now you're looking at my phone screen, as you can see. What we're going to do is, so I'm already set up to have a conversation with the Running to Keep Up page. So what I'm going to do is put in here Alpha Betty. It's going to tell me that I've spelled that wrong, but I haven't. Spaghetti, and we're going to send that, and let's see what happens. So you can see we get that first message pretty instantaneously. Hi Andrew, thanks so much for your message. I am Cup, the Running to Keep Up automated assistant, and I'll help you get signed up today. Is that okay with you? And then you can see we've got this assumed response, this awesome, let's go. That's the only option. Let's click it. And we should get our image. Yeah, so there you go. We've got Lucille Ball doing her thing with the champagne. Awesome. Let's get you signed up. Just confirm your email address below, and you can see that the email address associated with my personal Facebook account is right there. I'm going to click it. That sent it to the system, remember, via the postback, and just click confirm below to let us know you're happy to receive email from us. I'm going to click confirm. Thanks so much. Check your inbox for mails. This is why we run these tests, right? So you can spot those typos. That's meant to say emails. Check your inbox for emails coming from andrew@salesrails.co. There you have it. That's the sequence that we built. Pretty awesome, right? I will talk to you in the next module. Thanks, everyone. Take care.